Hello guys, welcome to the beautiful Honduras. In this video I will show you guys how I got from Santa Ana in El Salvador to the island of Utila in Honduras via Copan. I will also show you guys around Copan for a bit and then obviously share my whole experience of getting my advanced open water scuba diving certificate here on Utila, which is one of the two cheapest places in the world to get it, but it is also still a very good quality. Good morning guys, today I'm making my way from El Salvador all the way to Honduras. We are passing through Guatemala. First this morning we had to check out of El Salvador, check into Guatemala, which all went super fast. There was nobody at the border. Now we are checking out of Guatemala and checking into Honduras. At this border you get stamped out of Guatemala and into Honduras, for which you will have to pay 80 lempira. A guy came onto our shuttle to change some money for us into lempira. This was super easy. These are my favorite kind of borders. You enter the room and there's both a checkpoint for one country and the other, the one that you're leaving and the one that you're entering. So it's super quick. There was no line once again. We also haven't had to check our bags anywhere, which is nice because this car is so tiny and it's so filled with the bags that it would have been a pain in the ass to take them all out and put them back. From the second border, it was only a short ride to Copan. Since it was super hot in the middle of the day, I decided not to visit the Mayan ruins of Copan. Instead, I got lunch and walked around the cozy city center. You will see lots of macaw around town because these birds are currently a protected local. You can find lots of artisanal products around town as well. I spent the night at Iguana Azul, a simple hostel but with an amazing shower. I had to wake up really early, however. Hey guys, I have made it to San Pedro Sula with the first bus from Copan, which left at 4 a.m. We arrived here 4 hours later exactly, and we had to wait for about 45 minutes now to get the bus to La Ceiba. And luckily I'm not doing the trip alone. There's someone else from the hostel who's doing it. He's kindly gone and got me a coffee because God knows we need it. And then from La Ceiba we will need to take a taxi to the ferry and take the ferry to Utila, which is only at 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. So it's only twice a day. That's why we had to leave so early not to miss it. Since we left so early, we were actually a few hours early at the ferry port, which was good because it gave us some time to have lunch. We have made it to the Utila Dream ferry terminal and we had to check in our bags and we got a little tag to pick it up again. We also had to pay $35 as some kind of tourist tax to go to the island. Not dollars, that's lempiras. And now we have 2 more hours to kill here behind me in the waiting room, which is air conditioned. We had a great lunch already, so that is another hour that we've killed. But yeah, 2 more to go. We made it onto the ferry and it's very funny how everyone is strategically trying to get a spot. We will probably get wet on the side, but let's give it a try first. I didn't stay on the side for long. After seeing the people on the right side of the boat get drenched, I didn't want to repeat what happened on the way to Bocas del Toro in Panama. The sun had started to set as we arrived on the island. We all picked up our luggage again, and to my surprise, someone of the dive school was waiting for me with a sign at the ferry pier. I made it to the island. I've also made it to the hostel, and I already got my homework. Unfortunately, there is no kitchen here, which is what I was looking forward to the most. To be in one place for a week and be able to have a proper kitchen and cook myself food. So I'm really considering to go to another hostel and not stay with the dive school because I was really looking forward to just cooking. After doing my homework, I quickly met my roomie and we went to Tequila Tuesday. Here you get free tequila. This was across from our place, and we had our first baleadas for dinner after. If you haven't seen my open water course yet, I did that one on Copan, and I have a great deal for you guys. You can get 10% off if you go watch that video and use my discount code. This time around here on Utila, I have gone with Parrot's Dive Center, and they have included accommodation. The accommodation is very basic, and I was super gutted yesterday that they don't have a kitchen because, if I'm honest, when I stay somewhere for a week, what I look forward to the most is filling up the fridge and being able to just cook and, you know, have fruit ready, whatever. I was so disappointed that I couldn't even like make myself a slice of toast in the morning. But anyway, the food is pretty cheap around here, so I will be able to survive. Okay, this is day one of the advanced diving course here on Utila. This morning we went through the theoretical information about the dives that we will be doing. The subjects were navigation, deep diving, and wreck diving. And today we will be executing 2 dives. One will be the wreck dive and the other is a navigation dive. And I'm really excited. It is excruciatingly hot. But the owner said that if it's this hot, it's good to see dolphins, turtles, maybe even whale sharks. Fingers crossed. Obviously the main objective is just to get all the skills done, and it would be nice to still see a lot of wildlife. All went well on the dives. The first one was the wreck dive, and it is an artificial wreck, meaning that they sank the boat to create a new dive site here. That was at the end of the 90s, so it has been there for a while, and there is a lot of coral on the boat. There aren't that many fish during the dives that we've done, but for the second dive I did see a stingray, which was really cool to see. Other than that, the second dive was completely about my navigation skills and doing the exercises with the compass, which is why I couldn't film. Obviously, I didn't have a hand free to film any of that. Last night I did have to do some homework for the night dive and the peak performance buoyancy chapter that we are doing. I didn't have to go to class to go over the theory today. We are going to meet up 1:45 in the afternoon, go over the theory, and then start the dives. Today I will be doing 3 dives. Tonight will be the night dive, which I'm really looking forward to because I have never done anything like it, and they say that a lot of wildlife and just animals come out at night because they hunt at night, or yeah, it's just really different. So that's what's on the program today. Once again, I am ready to get in the water because we need some cooling down. After getting the gear ready, we set off on our second day of diving. We started with a deep dive to 30 meters of depth. You lose a lot of color when you go that deep because the light doesn't go as deep. We mostly saw lots of coral and a fish here and there, but it wasn't very exciting. As we got closer to the surface, we saw more color again and also more fish, as most life tends to stay on top of the coral reef. We got back on the boat, and after some rest in between dives, I did my buoyancy exercises. After that, we went back to the island and we met at the dock again at 5 p.m. for the night dive. After getting the last instructions, we set off, and after waiting for it to get dark enough, the night dive could begin. Right away, I loved it. We each had a flashlight and went on the search for some nightlife. It didn't take long before the first animals appeared. Especially stingray are attracted by the light. We started on the sandy patch, but then made our way over the coral wall. This is also exactly what I had to do on the navigation exercise. I loved seeing this pufferfish, and once we made it over the coral wall, we made it to the little shipwreck on the other side. We hung around here for a bit, and I noticed that little blue fish were loving my light. They were just hanging out around it. Then we made our way back over the wall, and this is when I finally spotted the hundreds of little shrimp in every nook and cranny. Can you see their eyes light up everywhere here? We also saw this strange long thing, and as the end of the dive got closer, my sudden back pain grew stronger. Something had blocked a nerve and I suffered through the night. I also got stung by a jellyfish once back on the surface. As I physically recovered the next day, I hung out with the cat Pancake whilst calling my friends and family. I had lunch at La Casita with Lucy, my roomie. We loved coming here because it is pretty cheap and so nice. I walked around town for a bit, and in the evening we had a drink at Rhino's Beer Garden. We were only alone there, so we decided to have dinner at Mango Inn. The fresh pizza here was absolutely incredible. Good morning, guys. Today is a bit of an unexpected extra day. Yesterday we were invited to go by boat to the northern side of the island, which is pretty special because the conditions of the weather need to be perfect. Pretty much the whole dive club is joining us, and it's promising to be a very fun, cool day. But first, let's get breakfast. Eliza, one of my dive buddies, and I went to Pink Flamingo for breakfast. This is the restaurant of La Hamaca Hostel. They have great smoothies and veggie options. Then we got ready. I put a long wetsuit on to protect my arms, but I was dying from the heat. After a lovely boat ride, we started our first dive of the day. These dives were honestly my favorites. There was a lot more to see on this side of the island. We saw this cool lobster saying hi to us and spotted so many trumpet fish. They are honestly some of my favorite fish. After diving alone for my course, I was really happy to dive with the other girls. The walls of coral were stunning, and we even saw this cowfish. Look how pretty. After seeing this white and black juvenile spotted drumfish and this sleeping fish, we ascended to the top of the reef for our safety stop. I just couldn't get enough of this reef. After a great first dive, it was time for lunch. We went to Pigeon Key, or Suck Key, make of that what you want. We ordered food, and as it was being prepared, we all went for a walk around this colorful island. It was so pretty, so colorful, I really did not expect it. An incredible first dive. The coral, so many fish, so many amazing unique fish as well. And now we have made it to Peacock Cay, one of the little islands off the main island, where we are having a walk around looking at the colorful houses. This used to be, I guess, the first settlement on Utila, and now we're off to go and have a lovely fish burger for lunch. After refueling, we set off again and started our second dive, which was just as great, if not even better than the first one. Once again, we saw so many colorful fish, big and small, and many trumpet fish. Couldn't have asked for a better end to the dives than to see this group of cute cuttlefish. To celebrate these great dives, we got a drink at Huffy Beach next to the dive shop, and Eliza and I couldn't get enough. So we grabbed our snorkels and went on a seahorse mission. We went for a snorkel beneath the piers because Eliza had seen a seahorse there earlier. Although we didn't see a seahorse, we did see lots of fish. Even the starfish. The big fish seemed to be the size of me, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda shitting myself going under the dark piers with these big boys. We also saw some barracuda, and these cute shrimp were hanging out at our dock. We caught the sunset and then had to celebrate Eliza getting her open water certificate at the Utila Brewing Company. This place is not open often, so keep an eye on their socials to see when they have an event going on. We had a great cozy time together. We stopped by Tranquila Bar before going home, but we didn't stay there for long because the next day I had my 2 fun dives that were included in the course. On these dives, I was accompanied by Renzo, and I loved diving with him because he had an eye for detail and smaller creatures. We started off at a sunken sailboat where we were greeted by a huge moray eel. I spotted another trumpet fish, this flatfish, which is super well camouflaged, and Renzo pointed out a ton of cute little shrimp for me. For the second dive, we went back to the moon hole. This is where I did my 2 skills dives and the night dive. It was cool seeing it through another diver's eyes this time. Since it was Sunday, Eliza and I had to go for Sunday brunch at Mango Tango after my last dives. The Eggs Benedict here are legendary. It was my first time this far down the island, so we had a look at the lovely public beach, enjoyed a walk around, and then made plans for dinner. Since it was my last night on the island, the girls and I went for dinner at Edo's. Here I had some incredible shrimp tacos. I had been waiting for these for a few months now. We cheersed with some white wine, and I got aloe vera for my stung arm. We had a great time and ended at the dock feeding the fish some leftover ceviche and watching the stars with some random dogs. The perfect ending. If you're interested in also seeing what I get up to in the next countries, Guatemala, Belize, and Mexico, then definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the next videos. So I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!